In the heart of a dense, forbidding forest, where sunlight struggles to pierce the thick canopy, a terrified man races desperately through the undergrowth, his breath ragged and his eyes wild with pure panic, as if the very trees themselves are closing in to swallow him whole. He crashes through branches and leaves, clinging to the faint hope that somewhere, anywhere, an escape might still exist. Suddenly, the path opens before him, and a weathered wooden board rises from the earth like a grim sentinel, its surface carved with the chilling words, "Point of no return." A final warning that no path leads back from this place. Beside the ominous message, a single number stares back at him. 108. The sight freezes the blood in his veins. Panic surges through him like electricity, and he spins around, sprinting even harder, lungs burning. Yet no matter how far or how fast he runs, the forest cruelly returns him to the exact same spot, as though the woods themselves have become an endless, merciless loop designed to break his mind. As the last traces of daylight bleed away, an unnatural darkness begins to settle over the forest. Birds erupt from the trees in a frantic black cloud, abandoning the woods entirely and leaving behind a silence so complete it feels alive. An eerie, suffocating fear spreads through the air. The exhausted man, trembling and desperate, tries to climb a towering tree for safety, but a brittle branch snaps beneath his weight and he plunges hard to the forest floor. The impact leaves him broken and unable to move, sharp pain radiating through his body. Then the ground itself begins to tremble, and strange, unearthly sounds rise from the depths of the earth, echoing all around him. His breath catches in his throat, just as an unseen hand seizes him with terrifying strength and drags him into the absolute blackness. We never see whose hand it is. The scene shifts. A young woman named Mina works inside a quiet bird zoo shop, surrounded by colorful cages and soft chirping. One ordinary day, her boss hands her a rare golden parrot and tells her the journey will be long. Mina starts her car and drives into the same curse. Deep inside the forest, her phone's Google Maps suddenly dies and the radio crackles into static. This is the exact place where the man had been running for his life. Confused and uneasy, Mina steps out of the car and comes face to face with the same weathered board. Point of no return. When the car refuses to start, she lifts the golden parrot and sets off on foot in search of help. But the endless trees offer only silence. Returning to where she left the vehicle, she finds it has vanished completely. Every path looks identical. She is hopelessly lost. The ground trembles once more, and every bird takes flight at once. Night falls rapidly. Sensing she is no longer alone, Mina spots an old woman standing among the trees. The stranger silently beckons her deeper into the woods until they reach a mysterious, isolated room hidden in the very heart of the forest. The old woman opens the door and speaks in a low, urgent voice. "If you want to stay alive, come inside." Heart pounding, Mina rushes through the doorway and finds two strangers already waiting. Strange, inhuman sounds begin to rise from behind the glass, growing louder and more insistent until Mina's breath freezes in her chest. "What is that noise?" she whispers. The old woman answers with eerie calm. "They are very happy you have arrived." Mina cannot understand what is happening. She spends a long night staring into the darkness, praying for morning and a chance to escape. At first light, she tries to slip away toward her room, believing no one will stop her, but exhaustion forces her to rest. A hand settles on her shoulder. She spins around in terror, only to find Madeline standing there. "You're not the first to try," Madeline says quietly. "Many of us have grown tired and given up." She leads Mina outside and shows her the point of no return signs placed at regular half-day intervals all around their hidden room. When Mina asks who built them, Madeline answers that a professor once lived here. Night returns and the watchers come again. Tonight, one afternoon, Kiara and Mina venture into the woods searching for food. Mina asks if Kiara has ever actually seen the watchers. Kiara replies that Madeline once warned her, anyone who looks upon them goes mad. She points to a deep pit and explains that the creatures cannot come out during daylight because the sun burns their skin. Kiara reveals that she and her husband arrived 5 months earlier. He left to find a way out and has not returned for 5 days. She still clings to the hope that he will come back with an escape route. As night approaches, they return to the room. Madeline lays down 3 iron rules for Kiara. Never turn your back on the mirror after dark, never open the door at night, and never go near the pits. Mina does not fully believe the warnings. The next day, she and Daniel walk to the same pit. Mina insists the stories are only Madeline's inventions and decides to climb down, hoping the hole might hide a way out. Daniel, exhausted by force at the bottom of the pit, Mina discovers scattered belongings of people who must have been taken by the Watchers. She sends a bicycle and a camera up to Daniel. Suddenly, she senses a presence behind her. She turns and sees a pale hand reaching toward her, but the moment the hand enters a shaft of sunlight, it instantly burns to ash. Screaming in terror, Mina calls for Daniel, who hauls her up at once. They race back to the safety of the room. Madeline studies the recovered items with sharp suspicion and demands to know where they found them. Daniel and Mina lie, claiming they came from the forest. Madeline falls silent, yet her face makes it clear she does not believe them. She knows the objects came from the pit. In a hard voice, she asks Mina what she saw down there. Mina answers, voice trembling, that she saw nothing. That night, Daniel manages to connect the old camera to a television, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious Watchers, but hours pass with only a blank screen. A soft knock suddenly sounds at the door. Kiara's face lights with desperate hope. That must be my husband, John. She moves to open it, but Madeline seizes her arm. No, it's one of their tricks. They want to lure you out. No human can reach us this late at night. Kiara, heartbroken, insists it could truly be John. Madeline hisses that she must ask a question only the real John would know. With shaking hands, Kiara calls the question through the door. Outside, the shadowy figure falls completely silent. The silence proves it is the Watchers. Enraged, they smash the camera and begin pounding on the large mirror, sending deep cracks spiderwebbing across the glass. Madeline cries out in panic. If the mirror shatters completely, they are all dead. Thinking fast, she forces everyone to stand in a perfectly straight line, but the situation worsens. While out hunting with Madeline, Daniel suddenly overpowers her, binds her with rope, and declares in a cold voice that he will no longer follow the rules. Everyone will obey him now. He storms back toward the room. Kiara chases after him, while Mina quietly frees Madeline. Night has already fallen. Daniel locks the door from inside. Madeline and Mina hammer desperately on the wood, begging to be let in, but he refuses. Forced to hide beneath a thick tree, they listen, as a strange whispering fills the forest and the air turns ice cold. For the first time, the Watchers appear clearly. Tall, impossibly thin, terrifying silhouettes that have watched humans every night. Seeing that Madeline and Mina are not inside the room, the creatures begin hunting for them, their eyes hungry and lethal, ready to devour the 2 women the moment they are found. Once the Watchers move on, Madeline and Mina again pound on the door, pleading with Daniel to open it. After a moment of hesitation, mercy wins, and he unlocks the door. The moment they are inside, Madeline says, in a frightened voice, that they have broken too many rules, and the Watchers are angrier than ever. They barely have time to take their places in front of the mirror before a violent pounding begins at the door. The Watchers are trying to break through. In panic, the group drags a heavy table against the entrance. Later, when they move the table aside, a cloth slips and reveals a hidden basement door beneath it. They hurry down the steps and freeze in shock. The underground chamber is filled with years-old food supplies and, in one corner, an ancient computer. Curiosity overcomes fear. Mina powers the machine on. Video files appear on the screen. The first recording shows the professor's face. He calmly explains that he had... A second video plays. The camera pans to a cage holding one of the creatures. The professor announces he intends to experiment on this particular specimen because it is different from the others. Mina's heart races as she opens the final recording. The professor's voice is exhausted and broken. He says that today he will shoot both the Watcher and himself. Perhaps this is the end. The video shows him climbing the stairs. Seconds later, 2 gunshots echo. Silence fills the basement. Everyone understands that the professor killed the creature and then himself. But before dying, he left one final instruction. When the birds take flight at dusk, follow the direction they fly, and you will find a boat left for those trapped here. If anyone ever escapes, they must go to his university and delete all of his research data. That night, a fragile hope awakens in every heart. They believe the next morning will be their last in this place and allow themselves a brief moment of relief. When they climb out of the bunker at dawn, the ground seems to fall away beneath their feet. The Watchers have completely destroyed their safe room. They now understand with cold certainty that if they do not escape today, they will die. The professor's words echo in their minds. The path will appear only when the birds fly at evening. With time running out, Mina opens the cage and releases her golden parrot. The bird soars into the sky, and the group follows its flight path through the forest. Along the way, they pass a lonely grave. It belongs to the fairies who were once betrayed by humans and imprisoned here to die. After a long trek, they finally reach the boat the professor built. Everyone climbs aboard except Daniel. He has stayed behind, still trying to save the man he believes is John. Mina and Kiara scream that the figure is not the real John, but it is already too late. A Watcher kills Daniel. Within moments, dozens more of the creatures appear. Mina asks in terror whether the Watchers can follow them beyond the forest. Madeline answers quietly that they cannot leave the woods. Somehow the 3 survivors escape, yet the true twist is only beginning. The group now splits onto separate paths. Mina remembers the professor's final request and travels to his university to delete every file. Before she can erase the data, she discovers an old tape. The recording reveals a shocking truth. Thousands of years ago, humans and fairies lived side by side, even marrying one another. The children born of those unions were called halflings, and they possessed a strange power, the ability to take any form, even the form of the dead. While searching the professor's office, Mina finds photographs. The ground seems to shift beneath her feet. Standing beside the professor in every picture is none other than Madeline. Mina is stunned. If this is true, why did Madeline never tell them? Determined to confirm her suspicion, she finds Kiara and tells her everything. Kiara asks, in disbelief, who the woman with them really was. Mina answers softly that she finally understands. The real Madeline died of cancer years earlier. When the professor learned a halfling capable of taking human shape lived in the forest, he captured it, showed it Madeline's photograph, and the creature became her perfect double. Mina draws a deep breath and tells Kiara she has already summoned Madeline. When the creature arrives, they must capture it and return it to the forest. A car pulls up outside. The door opens, and a young woman steps out. Mina's blood turns to ice. She turns and sees Kiara still sitting behind her, yet at that same moment, Madeline has already taken the form of Kiara's husband, knocked the real Kiara unconscious, and is walking straight toward Mina. In a quiet, bitter voice, the creature speaks. I was different from all the other fairies. No one ever liked me. I was completely alone. Until the professor caught me. He promised he would set me free. But he betrayed me. He tried to kill me. You humans are all the same. Liars, not worthy of trust. Hatred burns in its eyes as it leans close and whispers. Now that you know my secret, I will kill you too. I will wear your face and live among humans. In the next instant, Madeline shifts into Mina's exact likeness and begins to strangle her. Choking, Mina forces out the words, "Do you know you are half human and half fairy? Did the professor never tell you why you can walk in sunlight? There are many other fairies like you living among people right now." The words strike deep. Madeline's face begins to change, her true form breaking through. Wings erupt from her back. With a piercing scream, the creature launches into the sky and vanishes. The scene shifts. Mina sits safely at home with her sister, recounting every terrifying detail of what happened. Her voice trembles as she admits she is still afraid the fairy might be following them. Her sister tries to calm her. Outside the house, a small child stands alone. Slowly, a mysterious smile spreads across the child's lips. The little girl is no ordinary child. She is Madeline, who has chosen a new human form in which to live among people once more. And with that lingering fear and unresolved mystery, the story ends.